Alrighty, let's go ahead and start opening some packs. Ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. So first up, we're going to be opening Blurg. Oh, I forgot actually I need the, I need to grab a calculator. That way I don't lose track of the packs. So give me one moment. Alright, so I'm just setting up my counter app and we'll get right back into it. I have to reset it down and we opened 2. So now we can go to the next pack and it should be opening them automatically for us. Let's see. Ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. Alright, pack number 4. So I haven't actually looked too deeply into what all of the good cards are. But I know Fog Crystal could be pretty solid. Melanie is in the set. Obviously, if you can get a good Shadow Rider line, that would be pretty solid. We see a Melanie, useful for any of those V or VMAX Pokemon with a colorless attack cost. And we also have Path to the Peak. I'm not sure how useful Path to the Peak will be right now, but it could come in handy later down the line. We also have all of the random gloves cards, so if you need to find a good way to, what's the word? If there's this particular Pokemon you want to target, running the gloves could be helpful. Oh, we have the Keep Calling Sobble and a Galarian Moltres V. Of course, we don't have Shady Dealings, so it's not going to be as good as Sobble would normally be. But still, I think Quick Shooting Inteleon is not bad either if you're able to get a pretty decent line of it. I saw a Zeraora V, so if Blurg is running a Rapid Strike deck, that could come in handy for sure. I'm pretty sure they also got a Blaziken V. When the set first came out, Blaziken V Max and Zeraora V was a deck some people did play. Running through the next set, we have a Porygon Z, which can inflict confusion each time you attach an energy to it. It's not a terrible card, but 3 energy to use its attack is probably a bit pricey. Let's see here. Another Liepard V, not bad. Echoing Horn. That's a card that could see some play if you're running any kind of bench sniping strategy. Oh, we see the Inkay. Rapid Strike Malamar is definitely a card some people should be keeping an eye out for. If they had any copies of Octillery beforehand, being able to just constantly search out a 40 extra damage is pretty solid, and of course it only requires the 1 energy. Alright, we're gonna check the packs after this to see how many we are at. Ooh, and there we go, a Malamar and a Sandaconda right at the end. So let's see, 35 packs. We can go ahead and open one more for them. Last pack, Magic. Not looking too good. But Peony could be actually pretty useful in this format. If you're running things that rely more on basics, being able to find level balls or just the cards that you need could be useful. I don't think we have anything like Bibarel just yet though, so it's hard to say for sure. Collection, add to cart. Head over to TCG player. I think we can just exit out of that. Then we copy this over to here. Oh, hold on, I missed something. Hi Shutter, how are you doing? So I have this over in the notepad, so we can copy it over, and Blurg's card pool should hopefully be updating. We can see the loading bar over here. And it looks like it's going to take a minute to complete. So while we wait on that, let's just go ahead and go to the next player. So we're going to refresh, and it looks like next up is Magos. Oops, wrong tab. Alright, here we go. Time to open the packs, resetting, and we're at 1. Oh, Zapdos is actually pretty good. Obviously, it's great at killing anything weak to fighting, but most players are probably going to be running a decent amount of Pokemon V once they manage to round out their collections a little bit. So being able to deal 170 for 1 damage is just really strong. Oh, so we also see Clara in this set, and I think Clara and Avery are both going to be in a lot of decks. Being able to draw 3 cards with a bonus effect makes it slightly better than the existing draw 3 supporters, and Clara's recycling is very useful if you're running anything with a stage 1 line. We see another Melanie. And this time a Metagross V. Synchro Hammer requires both players to have the same amount of energy, but that might be pretty hard to pull off. Going into the next pack, let's go ahead. So we are currently on, I don't know how to pronounce it, Magoo's. We're only on the 2nd player. We have 39 entrants, so we probably haven't passed by whoever you're looking for. Oh, so that Delibird, it can get any card, but 2 energy probably makes it a little bit unwieldy to use. If it was 1 energy, I think it would see a lot of play, or at least some, because it's a little bit better than, say, Pachirisu or whatnot. That's a really good question, Shutter. So during the first event, we budgeted like 6 hours to open everything, just because we thought, it would take like at least 10 minutes per player, but then it ended up not being nearly as long. We were able to finish it in like 1 or 2, so it really depends on how much goes wrong in terms of either if I accidentally open 37 packs for a player, that would make me have to restart from pack number 1, or if I get distracted by other things and am slow on opening the packs, it could take anywhere from 1 to 4 hours is roughly my estimate. Oh, so the Blissey is actually pretty interesting. Obviously 250 HP is solid, and the attack scales pretty quickly. But being weak to fighting does mean that the Urshifus are going to be a big threat to it. Yeah, so this site makes me do it 1 at a time. So what I do is whenever I press enter to open the pack, I also have my phone next to me, and I'm able to basically just keep pressing a button on the counter. But once we get close, I double check right here to make sure we don't go over the amount, and then we can go ahead and finish it out. So that's 36 packs. We can add the collection to the cart, open it on TCG Player, X out of that. Then we copy from here into a notepad document to prevent any weird formatting issues. Then we come in here and we paste it, and while that's updating, let's see if blurgs did work or not. I am seeing a suspicious lack of cards. So in the end, if it doesn't fix itself by the end of the pack openings, we'll take some time off stream to make sure the spreadsheet is working for everybody. Next up is holiday, so let's go ahead and reset again. Gamers, the cast forms are the ones that work if you have like 8 stadiums, right? Are there enough stadiums in your collection to get those cast forms online? Or is there an attack that you want to use that is low enough energy that you don't mind not meeting the requirement? Hi Buster, how are you doing? We're opening up the third player's packs now, and they started with an alt art Galarian Moltres, which I think is a great card. Being able to self-accelerate is huge in any limited format. And it looks like they also got the Galarian Slowking V, so they could potentially be building a solid dark type deck. We see a quick shooting Inteleon, though we'll have to see if anyone actually is able to run it. Malamar is also a pretty solid option, and Blaziken V, it is another 2-prizer. So I think this is off to a good start for them in terms of expanding their basic 2-prize options. Regardless of what type they want, they are getting some pulls. We've got Blaziken, we've got Zeraora. I think we actually have 2 Blaziken. And alright, Buster, we can go ahead and open your packs next. I will skip ahead a little bit in the queue after this one. This one's already been designated to go to the player currently in the list. We also see a Galarian Zapdos to go with that Galarian Moltres. Some really strong cards. I'm thinking cards like Fearow are going to fall off a little bit into the second event. Basically, as people get more and more copies of Pokemon V that are somewhat self-sufficient, they'll probably start to favor those. That said, a lot of these do have energy attack costs of 2 or 3, so keeping the Fearow around just for the opening turns while you try to power up your bench could still be a pretty solid plan. We see a Greedent, but I don't think there are too many hammers currently in the format, so it's probably not going to do all too much. We're over pack number 30 now, so we'll see. Oh, that Cresselia is so good. Though I don't think players are really going to be able to take full advantage of Cresselia because they're not going to get the huge lines of Shadow Rider. But being able to go first and attach or go second and attach a ton of energy before you sorry, I got distracted. Basically, attaching a ton of energy and then swinging for weakness against the Urshifus could be pretty strong. I think if anyone opens multiple copies of Cresselia and Fog Crystal, they're relatively likely to use it. Alright, oh, so I guess I actually don't need to skip ahead at all. Buster is actually just the next player up. So let's go ahead and reset and start opening their packs. Buster, are there any cards that you're looking for in particular from here? And sure thing, Shutter will do yours next. Mago's asking what they pulled. I don't have it all pulled up right now, but I think there were some solid cards in there. I think Blissey V could be good, for instance, if you power it up for the middle of the game. There's a Galarian Zapdos in there, which is pretty strong. And a Shadow Rider. Alright, a Slowking VMAX. Yeah, so Shadow Rider VMAX, if you can pull it, Buster, would be pretty good, I think. Hitting both Urshifu's for weakness as well as being a strong card in its own right is obviously quite good, but the odds of running into both the V and the VMAX, especially at multiple, like let's say a 2-2 line, is pretty thin. Oh, I actually skipped right over the Golurk. Speaking of Shadow Rider VMAX, we do have one, so I hope that you get the basic. Don't want to have an unusable VMAX in your collection, you know what I mean? We're about halfway through these packs, so there's still a decent shot of running into a couple more Pokemon V. Another Blissey V. Oh, that's actually a really cute art. I haven't really seen it before. I think people that I see playing Blissey are mostly from PTCGL giving it away as the starter deck, so they're running the minimum rarity. That alt art though was very pretty. This set has the Shining Arcana Gardevoir. If you're able to get a good enough line, that could be very helpful later in the series. This Zarude could be pretty decent. It's another Call for Family Pokemon, but I'm not sure if there are enough other good grass types to be worth it. Yeah, Path to the Peak is going to be a pretty interesting card. I don't think there were a ton of Rule Box ability Pokemon last time, but if people are running the Zapdos and the Moltres from this set, there is a good chance that it'll come in handy. And even if it doesn't, just being able to bump away things like a Tower of Darkness makes running a stadium card worth it. Alright, we're getting on the few final packs. So let's see what comes up. I think this is 35. We'll go ahead and double check before we pull it. Let's go ahead and close, check the collection, 35. Final pack, here we go. And it looks like not too much. Let's see, so we have Calyrex and this Tornadus. Unfortunately, we have 3 VMAX, but no Vs to go with them. In any case, we'll go ahead and open up this collection. Close out of that. Go over here, paste in, copy, and head here. Alright, and now, oh, Shutterstock is up next. Reset, reset, and let's get right to it. I wonder how good this Rapid Strike Urshifu could be. I don't know what your Rapid Strike lineup looks like, but if someone has the Phalanx from Battle Styles, it could pair really well with that new Urshifu. Alright, so we're going to be looking at what single strike cards you can pull to add to your collection. I don't think the Obama Snow is all too useful, but we'll see what other cards come up. That Score Bunny might be an alternative to the Tepig. I know some people were running it as a tech card in the last event, just to hit grass Pokemon for weakness, like the Cherim. Yep, so I saw at least one Avery so far, and Peonia, it's probably a good card to be including. If people are running short lines of stuff that are cards that are liable to get prized, being able to grab them out of there with Peonia is pretty good. Heading into pack number 11, we see a Metagross V with a foil Avery. Two solid cards to add to the list. Next up, we get some Echoing Horns in case you ever need to deal some benched damage, or maybe one of these days we'll get Boss's Orders, and you'll be able to finish off the game from an Echoing Horn into KO. Yeah, the Blissey and a second Metagross V. We have a single strike Heracross, but I don't think those attacks are dealing nearly enough damage to really consider in your deck. So we'll move on to the next pack and see what we get. Is the single strike Lycanroc any good? I don't feel like I've ever seen it before. Oh, so Quillfish could actually be solid. Just 60 damage as a counterattack. Not bad for a single prizer. And we see an Inkay and a Celebi V. Celebi V letting you really accelerate that energy, but since it has to be grass type, I'm not sure how good it'll be. Yeah, so Metagross is pretty strong, but we need to find, you need to be able to meet the condition, which might be more difficult than it seems. We see the Dynablade Gallade, but stage 2s are going to be really hard to build appropriate support for. This is the Mirage Step Kirlia in the set, but Mirage Step doesn't do anything if you don't pull multiple Kirlia in the first place. Alright, we're on the final few packs, I think. After the next 3, I'm going to be checking our current spot. I saw another Path of the Peak there, and another Peonia, and another Metagross. So Cheesecake mentioned hand matching, but the Metagross is actually based on energy matching, which is a little bit more difficult. Let's see, 2 more packs to go, and I don't remember if it's if you're on 3 or 4 Metagross. We can go ahead and take a look for sure. So let's see here. 2, 3. I think it's just 3. But still, having 3 copies of a card is pretty good if you think it's worth putting in the deck. Let's go to TCG player. Go over here, and then go here. Oh, it didn't seem to go in properly. All right. Buster wanted to know their Gardevoir count. All right, so let's see. It's hard to check right away because I think there might be a bug with the spreadsheets. But let's see. So it's 1 Gardevoir, probably a ton of Ralts, but Curlia, yeah, just 1 Curlia. So probably not doing too much. Steelerfist, what is your username in the event? Because I don't think we have anyone with your current Twitch name signed up. But yeah, I can open your packs next if I know. Oh, Squid Boy? Okay. Let's see. Alright, so let's go ahead and open your packs. And since you're new, you weren't in the Battle Styles event, right? Or am I just forgetting about it? Because what I was going to say is we need to go open Double Emil and Smoothie. I will have to go check what you mean. Shutter. Are you saying that the pace isn't going in correctly? Oh, okay, yeah, so players that didn't sign up for the first event have two spots because I need to open the battle style packs for them. So for example, with this, once we finish the Chilling Rain packs for Squid Boy, we are going to open their battle style packs and then go back to Chilling Rain. Hey, Tornadus VMAX. Yeah, so the Tornadus V definitely deals a decent amount of damage. It's just going to be a bit tough to power it up. I think it costs like 4 energy, right? But I think if it can get powered up, it'll be pretty strong. We see a Gallade come out. And an Echoing Horn. That's pretty solid. Alright, see you later, Shutter. Thanks for coming by. Ooh, a Peonia. Alright, we see that single strike Quillfish we were talking about earlier, as well as a Chroma Shift Kecleon. That card could be great for hitting players for weakness. Oh, the Galarian Rapidash V. Probably not going to see all too much play, but Ice Rider Calyrex might be solid. It has a pretty decent 1 energy attack, and then if you can get the VMAX, it's obviously dealing premium damage. Galarian Moltres V, I think, is absolutely worth running if you have anything resembling decent colorless attackers. Like if you can fit the dark energy in your deck, being able to power yourself up is just so huge. Alright, so we're about to wrap up the packs here. I have 2 more to go. And we see another player with both Moltres and Zapdos. Pretty solid pulls. Next up, though, we need to go back and give them the proper Battle Styles cards as well. So let's go here, copy the cards. I'm going to make sure it's correct. All right, Squid Boy, here is the first list. And now we go to Sword Shield 5, and we can open some battle style packs. So this is where you're going to be looking for escape ropes, level balls, maybe Bruno. And a couple of V attackers could be pretty good as well. So you're already at 2 escape rope and a Bruno, not bad. Players from the first event might recognize a lot of these cards. I think Cherubi saw quite a bit of play, for example. And of course that Spearow was going hard. Karina's Focus, going to be pretty good, I think, as players get slightly better collections and are able to play out the cards in their hand. Karina's Focus will become better and better at drawing them new cards. I know some players were struggling a lot with basically their hands being bricked and Karina drawing nothing. Because if you already have 6 cards, it doesn't do much of anything. And that's why cards like Cynthia and Professor's Research are considered a step above it. We saw an EXP share in that last pack, a great card to grab, and an Octillery is always going to be worthwhile as well, even if it's just to grab those supporters. Oh, we see the Pachirisu that we were talking about just a little bit ago, and a Rapid Strike Fallings. And a full art Bruno and Karina. That was actually a crazy pack, because there was also an escape rope, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so the Golbat is a card that I think got a little underutilized in the first event, possibly just because players weren't drawing enough copies of it. Now, we don't have Scoop Up Net or anything, but Crobat also deals solid damage for just 2 energy, and also is a draw support Pokemon. So it could definitely warrant a slot in the deck, especially if you get at least 2 copies of it. That Cacturn was quite good in the first event. And a Metal Transfer Bronzong, not a bad pull either. Being able to save your energy cards could be quite useful. Battle Styles is about to wrap up, and a second Fallings. You definitely want to take a look at all of your Rapid Strike cards and see if you can build a decent deck with that. I know there's at least 1 Octillery and 2 Phalanx. So let's go ahead and add these cards to the cart. Head over to TCG Player. Copy. Paste. Copy and paste. Sure. So we're gonna check Golbat real quick. Oh. For some reason I am not seeing it. I know we opened one though. Oh, because it's a, hold on, I have, with the battle style cards, we have to fix something. No? Sorry about that. So Swordward and Shieldbert was broken. And it breaks the input. Thank you for reminding me because I absolutely would have forgotten about that. So let's try that again. You should have all of your cards now. Sorry this is taking so long. I want to make sure it's input correctly. Alright, so plenty of Zubat. But the question is, oh, 5 Golbat. That sounds pretty good to me. Looks like you might be missing the Crobat though. Still, a 4-4 line is the best you can get. Heading over back to Cheesecake, we can get started on the next set of pulls. Let's go ahead and reset. Open. And get started. So I'm seeing a lot of cast form, and I'm pretty sure you have a Tornadus V and the VMAX. So that's always a solid option. It'll also even resist fighting for you, meaning that the Urshifus are going to be just a little bit less problematic than usual. We also see an Ice Rider Calyrex and a ton more cast form. Okay, so someone was talking about this Golurk earlier. 4 energy is a ton, but 190 damage is pretty good. Personally, I don't think it's going to be very good though. I think low energy, self-sufficient attacks and Pokemon are going to be the best until we get a lot further in the series. Yeah, so I believe the quad Urshifu player got 4th in the last event. It was definitely a good call. Obviously they had to get a little bit lucky to roll all 4 copies like that, but the deck was pretty well constructed. Alright, we're in the 20s. And we saw a Rapid Strike Malamar with an Inkay to go with it in this pack right here. Fog Crystal, always a great pull. Worst case scenario, you could even just use it like an energy search to help make your deck just a little bit more consistent. Alright, just a few more packs to go. But honestly, I think you got what you needed in the first few. That Galarian Moltres and the playable Tornadus VMAX line are pretty solid pulls, if you ask me. Let's see here, we've got 34, so 2 more to go. Pack number 1, and the final pack. Let's go ahead, add the collection to the cart, head to TCG Player. Oh wait, were there really no Avery in that entire list? What? That is rough, but hey, at least you have the draw 3 supporters from the standard pool. Next up, we have Volcarona. You know, we have 8 friends, but each card with friends in the name has like 3 or 4 trainers on it. So really, you have like 32 friends. And isn't that great? Why would you want one cheating Avery when you could have 4 good friends? A full art Zeraora V. If there's a good way to power up the Zeraora, I think it's pretty powerful, but otherwise, it's probably not going to end up doing very much at all. Galarian Slowking VMAX, not bad. Assuming you can find the V. Oh hey, speaking of Avery, there we go. And a Dynatree Hill. So preventing healing is an interesting effect, but there aren't too many healing cards in our format. I think Cybold can heal all of the single strike players, Pokemon, but I'm not really even expecting them to run it. We are blazing through these packs pretty quickly. Not doing too bad, if you ask me. A nice foil Path to the Peak to shut down any pesky abilities like Kricketune V. A second Zeraora. Maybe they will be able to find a way to make it work. We see another Quillfish, and the old cemetery I think is like an interesting stadium. Just because with it and cards like Agatha, you might be able to get a cheeky KO. 2 more packs for this player, so let's go ahead and round out their collection. Final pack. And another Avery. I'm pretty sure they already had 4 copies at this point, but no problem. Let's go here and give Volcarona their cards. That seemed like a lot of cards, but very well. Oh, I guess it's about the same. Alright, next up is Zach. We're going to be refreshing. Wow. Opening up the next set. Starting off strong with an Avery in the very first pack. And a full art Avery alongside Path of the Peak in the second. Zach is getting some of those good generic cards early on, but we'll have to see what kind of Pokemon they are able to get to go alongside it. We also see Peony. If they're willing to discard their hand, they can get the effect of 2 camping gears. And Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX is pretty strong, as is Tornado VMAX. But They're going to need to find some basic Vs if they want to be able to take advantage of those hyper rare cards. I don't think we have. Gamers, if we haven't done yours yet, we'll go ahead and do it after this set. Oh, Volcanion V, this is the first player to pull that. So if this Pokemon has taken 100 damage, it can basically one-hit KO anything that's not a VMAX. That's a pretty interesting card. I think that Volcanion is going to be really tough for players to one-hit KO, so I would definitely consider running it if they were able to find space. The question is how many fire-type attackers they own. They did manage to pull a Tornadus V, though, unlocking the previously pulled Tornadus V Max. Passimian, probably not too impactful of a pull, unless someone is already really strong in the Rapid Strike department. They probably aren't dealing a ton of damage. Like, you basically need to have a 2-2 Urshifu VMAX line to really consider putting Passimian in the deck. But that said, this should be 34, so let's go open 2 more packs and see if they manage to pull anything in the final sweep. Nothing too crazy, so let's go ahead and grab their collection. Head over to TCG Player. Copy from Notepad into here. Alright, so next up we'll go ahead and do gamers and reset these pulls and open. Ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. Oh, so we see a couple of cast form. I know you said you were looking for cast form and Kecleon, so I'll go ahead and point out whenever we pull some of those. We have one of the rainy cast forms and now a snowy cast form as well. 120 for 0 energy on a basic is pretty good if you're able to actually find and get it. Doctor is a draw supporter, but probably not going to see any play as the draw 3 supporters are a little bit more consistent. We see a Rapid Strike Malamar, and that Single Strike Beedrill dealing 110 for 1 energy feels really good. Unfortunately, being a stage 2 means it's probably not going to turn out very well in practice, unless players get a very big line. That said, the Kakuna is only an uncommon, so there is a chance players will actually be able to find what they are looking for. We've seen a couple of Curlia here, I'm pretty sure. So if we manage to find any Gardevoir or Gallade, that could be worth running. Heracross, Lapras, and another Sobble, but more importantly, that pack came with a Clara, perfect for recycling your Pokemon. Now, we haven't seen any Kecleon so far, but I think we've seen a pretty good amount of Um, sorry about that. The sneeze made me completely forget what I was talking about. There have been a lot of Flannery pulls. Ba-ba-ba-da-ba-bum-ba-dum. Oh, a Zapdos in one of the final packs is going to be pretty solid. Let's double check how many we have to go. Looks like my counting has been a little bit better this time. During the first event, I was usually off by 1, but this time it's been the same number as on my counter every time. It looks like we did manage to find a Kecleon in the very last pack. So let's go ahead and add the collection to the cart. Head over to TCG Player, copy here, and then we can head to Gamers' slot and insert that. I'm sure you got plenty of cast form, so hopefully you are happy with those pulls. Next up is Beals, though I thought we might have done Beals already. I probably got confused with the other players starting with B. So anyway, let's go ahead and start opening. We see a full art Celebi V in the very first pack. I wonder if they'll be able to find the VMAX. A Galarian Zapdos V is definitely going to be a powerful card in almost any deck. It's a low commitment attacker with just 1 fighting energy, and even if they don't have a ton of Pokemon V in play, at least you're able to use any kind of energy to meet the other, the rest of the attack cost. It's going to be great with Melanie, for example. Getting a way to consistently draw some extra cards while also using a powerful attack. Yeah, this set does have the Weezing and Galarian Weezing combo, but I think they are both in the rare spot, which makes actually pulling a usable line of them really difficult. We do see a Brawly, which I think is a pretty solid card. Finding yourself some Rapid Strike Pokemon can really get your bench going during the first few turns of the game. I don't know how common of an occurrence it was, but with the limited draw support, I could definitely see Donks being relevant in this format. We see a Cresselia and a Weezing. So I was saying it would be pretty difficult, but they have just flipped their 3rd Galarian Weezing. And there is another coughing for them. Now, I remember there was an Ascension coughing in the format when these Weezings became standard legal. However, I think it might have been from a different set, as this coughing does not appear to have the super ultra useful attack. Maybe Darkness Ablaze? Because there was also the neutralizing gas one, right? But in any case, we just have 2 more packs left to go for these guys, so let's go ahead and open it up. An Echoing Horn and another Inkay, and we finish it off with the fourth Galarian Wheezing. Quite interesting. I need to see how many of the regular Wheezing they have. Just one. If it was just a little bit more of a even distribution, they would have been completely set. But in any case, we'll see what they come up with. Let's go ahead and give Beals their cards and move on to Timsy. And then let me just move this out over to here. And then, oh, oops, hold on. Alright, so hopefully this is still functioning. Okay, and we are back. So let's go ahead and reset. And open a pack. Ooh, so I think this might be the first player to have opened Galarian Articuno V. The effect is discard 2 to draw 1, and while that doesn't sound very good on paper, it combos pretty well with Karina's Focus, helping you get your hand size down, and really people could be using all of the draw support they can get. There are a lot of ways to just edge out your victories by being a little bit more consistent than your opponent, and that's just one way some players might end up doing it. Ba-ba-ba-da-ba-bum. So let's go ahead and go to the next set of packs. We are about halfway there. I'm pretty sure this is their second copy of Gallade, but it's really going to depend on what their Curly account looks like. Ralts is probably going to be easy enough to find, but the stage 1s, being in that uncommon slot, are facing a ton of competition. But yeah, we have seen, I think that was 3 or 4 packs with a Gallade in a row. Full Art Clara. Not any different than a regular Art Clara, but still a good card, followed by the Full Art Avery. Followed by a Blaziken VMAX. This player is just getting hit after hit. Though I don't think they have any Blaziken V, so the quality of the hit is questionable at best. Okay, so I finally read what the Single Strike Lycanroc does, and it seems pretty solid. 80 plus 10 for each Pokemon in your discard pile. They have to be Single Strike cards, but that's not a huge deal. Especially if the player owns a couple of Houndoom and can be accelerating onto that Lycanroc, it can attack in one turn and probably take out most basics and stage 1s in the format. Final few packs, we'll see if they get any magic here. Nothing too crazy. Alright, so let's go ahead and add their collection to the cart. And head to TCG Player. Exit out that. Go here, copy it over into my notepad file. Then come back, give it to Timsy, and move on. So next up is Bisuduo, and this is a player everyone had their eyes on during the first event. Unfortunately, they were unable to compete, but they are in possession of a full rapid strike package. They will absolutely be looking for ways to supplement that strategy here. A Volcanion V is not bad, but it is a single strike card. We see a Grav Drop Scroll. Might be worth taking in a copy of it. But more importantly, we find Brawly, helping them get those Remorates out alongside Urshifu V. Other cards they could be looking for are Malamar or the single prize Rapid Strike Urshifu, which would go really well with just being able to fill your bench with a ton of Pokemon. So we see an Inkay, a Brawly, a Tapu Fini, and a Scroll of the Skies, and a Grookey. Half of the cards in this pack are Rapid Strike. Pseudo remains the Rapid Strike champion. And like Maddie said, Melanie is also going to be a great card to be looking out for. Urshifu VMAX needs to discard 2 energy for their big bench sniping attack, so being able to attach 2 energy in one turn outside of the use of searching with Octillery is pretty good. We do see them pulling a Malamar, and I know they have a couple of Inkay. If they can pull a second Malamar, I think they will really be set. Even the Rapid Strike Sobble could see some play. Just as another way to get those early game consistent benches. They have plenty of copies of Brawly and plenty of copies of Sobble. So we'll have to wait and see what they choose to put in there. We are about 2/3 of the way through our packs. We see a Path to the Peak, but they'll probably stick to the Tower of Waters, making use of the ability to retreat for free. We see plenty of Clara, helping to recycle any of their Pokemon that they need, and another Spiral Energy. Just another thing that can be searched out and boost that consistency. An Echoing Horn. Probably not too useful right now, but it'll come in handy later in the series. Almost definitely. Yeah, so I've been looking, and they are not getting a whole ton of Melanie. That's probably the biggest supporter that they're looking for right now, but I have noticed a lot of Curlia. So one thing that they might be able to transition to is a Shining Arcana build, but probably not something that they want to do right now. And there we go, a Melanie in the second to last pack. And the third Melanie in the last pack. This player's luck does not end. Let's go ahead and copy some cards over to the notepad and then go and give Pseudo the cards. So yeah, before we move on, I do want to take another look. So they have a Melanie there. They've got 3 Avery. They've got 3 Clara. They have the Malamar. Yep, so they have the full playset of Melanie. Plenty of cards to work with. And next up is Duck Fiend. So let's reset the counter and open some packs. Oh, I think that might have been the first Sandaconda V that we've seen. I don't think the card is particularly great, but any basic V can be decent as long as it deals, you know, 150 or so damage. So it's a card I'd have to look at a little bit more closely. Not seeing anything too crazy from the packs so far, but we've got over 20 more to go, so there is definitely plenty of time. Oh yeah. We get back-to-back Averys from those packs, helping with the draw support a little bit. And Agatha is a card that I think people aren't going to run, but that might actually come up more often than players think. For example, if Agatha was in the first set, the Furos had 90 HP and dealt 70 damage to each other. So being able to transfer a couple of damage counters off and would let you take the KO. Similarly, we have cards like this Galarian Zapdos V dealing 170 when there are V Pokemon with just 200 HP in the format. So dealing an extra 30 to them would be a way to pick up an extra KO. Six packs to go. And a Blaziken V. Alright. If they get the VMAX, it would be pretty strong, but it's very unlikely that they manage to pull the card with just a few packs remaining. But we will see what happens. My counter is at 34, so I'll go ahead and double check after this one. Let's take a look. Yep, so 2 more packs to go. Maybe they'll get some last pack magic, like Baisuduo did with those double clutch Melanie pulls. We get the paste over here. I'm gonna go put it in the notepad, copy it over, and Duck Fiend is complete. Alright, so I know Maddie, you were in the chat a little bit earlier. You're up next, so let's go ahead and see what cards you're able to pull. Do you know if there are any cards in particular you're looking for from the set? Ice Rider VMAX is a pretty good one if you're able to find the basic V, but so far I don't think a single player has actually completed either Calyrex line. There have been a couple of players with Tornadus, for example, but not the riders. Melanie's pretty good. So Moltres V and Zapdos V, both are definitely strong cards. As I've been opening the packs, those are the ones that instantly catch my attention the most as well. Guardy cards. That's definitely a good choice as well. Even just one Shining Arcana and a couple of Mirage Step Curlia could be pretty useful, right? And then Path of the Peak and Fog Crystal, I think, are just good cards all around. I wonder if you'll manage to pull any of the Cresselias. I know Gardevoir decks in Standard don't run them, but in a limited format, being able to just accelerate 3 energy quickly could be pretty useful. Oh, and there's the Tornadus V. It seems to be everyone's favorite, the one that everyone's pulling. And a single strike Volcanion V as well. I don't know if you have any copies of the Houndoom line, but you're pulling quite a few single strike V Pokemon. Oh, and there's a Path to the Peak alongside a quick shooting Inteleon. Karen's Conviction can boost the damage output late in the game. It might be worth running as a one-of. But only if you're committed to the single strike strategy, of course. Oh, and a Fog Crystal alongside Echoing Horn. And another Horn, alrighty. Not too many crazy pulls off the top of my head here. Having Caitlyn could actually be somewhat useful just because of the way that hands work out in this format. Sometimes you just want to get rid of it all and draw some new cards. And so far, Caitlyn is actually, I think, the best at doing it. I guess Bruno is a little bit better, but only if you've been KO'd. Oh, there's a Mirage Step Curlia in the second to last pack. And let's see how many copies of Clara. Alright, 2 is pretty solid. I don't think many players would be running more than 2 copies in a serious deck, so that's just the right number. You know, pull the 2, that way you're able to use them, but then don't pull any more, so you can be pulling other cards and getting a more diverse collection. Next up is the spreadsheet creator themselves, Ketchy. And I think I do need to talk to Ketchy after this because I did something wrong and the spreadsheet isn't currently adding the new cards. But of course, we'll go ahead and fix it as soon as we can. Let's go ahead, open the packs, and see what happens. But yeah, Maddie, you are correct. We did miss out on all 3 of the birds, the 2 good ones, and even, I mentioned it earlier, but I think Reconstitute is actually not terrible in this format. Even though you're losing a card from hand, sometimes you really just need to dig deeper. And if players are running Karina's Focus, it can unbrick themselves a little bit that way as well. We see a Peony and the much less likely to be used Doctor. And a Path of the Peak, that's pretty good. Let's see here. Oh, a Caitlyn. Not bad. And I'm pretty sure that Frostlass has an interesting ability. I completely forgot to check it, but the next time I see one pop up, hopefully I will remember. I think maybe it attaches an energy when it evolves, or something along those lines. Ba-ba-ba-da-bum. Single Strike's a Viper, can deal 180 damage if you play a Single Strike supporter that turn, but unfortunately, I think the quality of supporters in the Rapid Strike deck is way higher than it is in Single Strike. Bruno is... Oh! Hi, thank you for following. I didn't actually catch who that was because I was too busy opening the packs. But welcome, welcome. Another Survivor, and we are getting close to the end. This is pack 29 coming up, so just 7 more to go. Another Peony, not bad. And an Echoing Horn. I think They already had plenty of those though, so not too much to say about it. Path of the Peak rounds out pack number 34. So 2 more to go. And as always, gotta make sure I'm not miscounting because I do not want to accidentally open 37 packs and have to redo the whole thing. So we saw a Santakana V right there in the final pack. And I think it's actually not too bad. 140 is like fine, and then Wall of Sand gives it a bit of resiliency, so it could be decent in this format, though probably not a standout card. Let's go ahead and give Catchy their cards, and we'll move on to Whiscash. Close out those, and open up a pack. Ice Rider Calyrex V. Here we go. Another player with a hope and a dream to get the VMAX. They also have a Melanie already, so if they manage to get the VMAX, their deck is going to be in a decent spot. A Metagross V as well. Interesting. Thanks to Metagross V having a colorless attack cost in that second attack, it can even work with Melanie as well. We also see Cresselia for accelerating the psychic energy onto it. And Fiona for getting those thin 1/1 lines out of your prize cards. Some fog crystals are not too shabby themselves either. Could always get you a turn 1 Cresselia as long as you have the escape rope and energy in hand. Lycanroc, pretty good in decks of players that are able to find Houndoom from the previous set. Here is our next player to get a Galarian Moltres V. Aura Burn deals an absolute ton of damage, and you can even combo it with Agatha to take KOs on any Pokemon V with 220 or less. So it can KO any Pokemon V by using Agatha to transfer 30 damage, which it will deal to itself, I believe, with its own Aura Burn attack. And then 190 equaling 220. We see a Rapid Strike Rillaboom, which I think is relatively powerful, but going to be way too hard to successfully use due to being a Stage 2. We see a Full Art Avery. Plenty of people have been pulling those Full Art Trainer cards. Not so many people have been pulling good lines of VMAXs. The Full Art Trainers are just taking up all of the space for the premium pulls. Oh, and speaking of a VMAX, there comes Blaziken. But we haven't seen a Blaziken V yet. So the player is unlikely to be able to make very good use of it. This should be pack number 34, so we will go ahead, close out, and check. Let's take a look. 34, 2 more packs to go. And open the final pack. Alright, collection, add to cart. Copy it over again, and then Whiscash gets those. So Spider is up next. I believe now... I forgot what I was going to say. So let's just go ahead and start opening the packs. I don't remember what Spider was running in the first event, so I don't have a good read on what cards they are looking for. However, there are still plenty of good options for future sets down the line. Things like Path to the Peak or Avery are good cards to go in anyone's collection. I think Chilling Reign is a little lighter on those must-have staple cards compared to, say, you know, EXP Share, Escape Rope, Level Ball. Battle Styles was definitely a stacked set compared to what we're currently looking at, but Chilling Reign has potentially higher ceilings. If you can get, say, something crazy like the 3/3 Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX, you're going to be unstoppable. But nobody's going to pull the 3/3 Shadow Rider Calyrex, you know what I mean? So it's a little bit of a toss-up which set you'd say is more powerful. Something I might do as we reach Top Cut is see what percentage of the cards are Chilling Reign cards and which percentage of the cards are Battle Styles. I'm thinking things are going to lean a little bit heavier towards the Battle Styles cards just because of cards like Bruno and all of those trainers. And then the Pokemon are a little bit of a toss-up. So those could go either way. Cards like Moltres and Zapdos, of course, are crazy. But not everyone is going to be able to pull those Pokemon. Alright, we should be going into the final few packs for Spider here. 34, 35, and final pack. Let's see what they get. A Malamar. So they have a Zapdos and 2 Moltres. Honestly, pretty good. Even if they aren't able to complete the Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX line, grabbing the birds is going to be pretty solid. So let's go ahead and give Spider their cards, and we can move on to Oscar. Ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. Oh, you know, thinking about it, I might actually know what the issue with the spreadsheet is. I think I probably put in the names for all of the cards, but then forgot to actually label them all as Pokemon, trainers, fire type, etc. So that they don't know where to put it in the player sheets. We will go ahead and take a look at that once we finish opening all of the cards. I don't think me sitting there doing manual spreadsheet work for half an hour is particularly entertaining stream content, so we'll wait until the end of the stream. Not too many crazy pulls yet. We'll have to see if they can pick things up in the back half of the packs. Well, an Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX is certainly good, but as I've said, nobody has been able to complete the set. Finding an Ice Rider Calyrex V is going to be difficult. We'll see if they are up to the task. Remember, luck is a skill. And there's a second VMAX. Not the card they wanted to see. They have just about 10 packs to go. And on average, that's only going to give them another 2 or 3 pulls. Alright, this should be pack number 30. So in just a moment, we're going to go ahead and check to make sure I have not been miscounting. Galarian Rapidash V is like fine, I guess, but I'm not expecting too many people to be running it. And it's followed by a Zera or a V. Not the Pokemon V they are looking for, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and check where we're at. 34, just as calculated. And final pack. Here's their last chance to find the Ice Rider. Unfortunately, it is just Ampharos. So we'll go over to TCG Player, X out of the pop-up, go ahead and grab these, copy it over to my notepad file, come back into here, give Husker their cards, and move on to Olith. Olith, I believe, is actually one of our league champions, so we'll have to see how well they do in the deck building component here. I think they're quite skilled if they're able to do well in all of the custom events, but with a more limited card pool, sometimes the pulls just won't be enough to keep up. Galarian Slowking V forces the opponent to retreat and can also draw some cards. Not the worst potential inclusion in a deck. That said, are you really going to try to give up 3 prize cards for it? I'm not so sure. I'm sorry, I mean 2 prize cards. So we also see a Blaziken VMAX. So if they're able to find a Blaziken V, that would give them a successful line. Similarly, a Galarian Slowking VMAX would also give them a VMAX line that is playable. Currently, very, very few players have managed to complete any line at all. A Sandaconda V. I haven't actually seen any Sandaconda V Maxes. Does anyone know if they're in this set or a different one? I know there are 2 different Sandaconda V Pokemon, so I don't remember which one the VMAX became included with. We saw a Shining Arcana Gardevoir, which is obviously going to be a potential card to consider, but as we've been saying, those Kirlias do not pull themselves. Hey, Blaziken VMAX. I think that makes it 2 Galarian Slowking V and 2 Galarian, and 2 Blaziken VMAX. Unfortunately, not completing either set, and instead just getting duplicates of the cards they already owned. A Blissey V is relatively strong though. Oh, I forgot. Give me 1 second. I'm going to be right back once we finish this set of cards. Actually, no, I just forgot I need to do something, but I'll do it after the stream. In any case, we're at pack number 34, and we see a Cresselia coming down. And they've also gotten the Galarian Moltres V. I think that's a card a lot of people are going to be looking for. So we'll see what percentage of decks it ends up getting played in. Add the collection to the cart. 360 cards, perfect. Go over here, copy, paste, and copy again. Then we go over to here, and next up is Del Boy. So Del Boy is one of the new players in this round of the event, so we are going to have to open Battle Styles packs for them as well. But that being said, I am probably going to be waiting until we do all of the Chilling Reign cards, and then taking just a quick little break before we head on to the next player set after that. So we'll do all of the Battle Style cards at the end. Ba-ba-ba-da-ba-bum. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-bum. Blissey V is a solid pull. And a second Blissey V immediately afterwards. It looks like this player might have a solid deck forming. The first hit of Blissful Blast is not all too powerful, but it scales very, very quickly. And there comes a Galarian Moltres V for even more ways to get energy cards out of the discard pile. Alongside Melanie, a Blissey Moltres deck could be pretty good. I could definitely see someone running that. Though, I actually don't remember. People run a ton of special energy in the Blissey decks because it's colorless, but does it actually have to be, or will it work with the basic energy? I guess I will go feed the card just to make sure I'm not misremembering it. And this is pack number 34, which gives us a great time to take a look. Yep, so it's any 3 energy cards. Pretty solid. Let's go ahead and open the final 2 packs for this player, and then we'll see how far we have come. A Tornadus V in the final pack is another good colorless attacker. Let's go to TCG player. Going to have to close out of that pop-up. Go here, copy the cards, gives Del Boy some cards, press enter. Next up is Landrow. Resetting, open a booster pack, and we'll see what they pull. So now we can just sit back, relax, and watch the packs fly open. Ba-ba-ba-da-bum. I should probably try figuring out some like nice background music for while we do this. Oh, so that is the first player to pull a Sandaconda. Sorry, the first player to pull a Sandaconda VMAX has arrived, and they pulled 2 of them. They are making up for the lost time. However, they don't actually have any Sandaconda V right now. So we'll have to see if they manage to find it. So, Maddie, you're joking about the lo-fi beats, but I actually listened to the Gold and Silver soundtrack like just randomly when I go take walks sometimes. I really like a lot of the songs. The surfing theme is nice. Goldenrod City and Elex Forest both slap hard. And a couple of other ones too. Oh, the Game Corner. A lot of them are just really relaxing. Oh, a Zapdos. What a great pull. Another fighting type to go with all those Sandaconda VMAXs that they can't use. And a second Zapdos coming right afterwards. So even if they don't manage to find the VMAX, or the basic Sandaconda, I think you can't really complain about getting multiple Galarian Zapdos. The set is a lot more lacking in the staple trainer cards. So picking up a couple of good Pokemon is about the best you can ask for. And we see a third Sandaconda VMAX. Absolutely ridiculous. I feel so bad for this player. Oh, Ecruteak is another good choice. That's a really good song as well. So let's go ahead and make sure they get all of their cards. We will come back for battle styles in a bit. And man, there are a lot of players, huh? I feel like this one is taking a little bit longer than the previous set did. I wonder if there's a setting I can do. Alright. We're gonna go even faster now. It's time to pick up the pack opening pace. Bum, bum, ba, 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 bum. We see plenty of shiny cards here. And we'll review the Pokemon V and stuff at the end. Oh, we find another Sandaconda VMAX alongside a Celebi VMAX, but once again, we do not have any of those basics. Alright, this should be 34. Let's go ahead and take a look. 34, perfect. One more pack. And a Blaziken VMAX. They might have actually completed a line here. Tornadus, nope, it's two Tornadus V. One of them was just the full art. Add collection to cart. Head over to TCG Player. Copy the cards over. Paste, copy, come over here, paste again. Next up is Drosocene. Let's go ahead and start cracking. Oh, we see a Blissey, pretty solid. Bum, bum. Melanie, always a good choice. Oh, a Shadow Rider Calyrex V. If they're able to find the VMAX, they will be in business. I'm pretty sure they opened a Cresselia at some point as well. So we'll have to see what they are able to pull in the near future. Bum, bum, ba, 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 bum. Oh, a second Shadow Rider V, alongside a Reconstitute Articuno and a Volcanion, and a full art Agatha. That was like 5 hits in a row. That was pretty wild. Might be the longest streak of successful hits in a row that we've seen, but unfortunately, without the appropriate V Max Pokemon to go with the Pokemon V, it isn't going to do very much. Let's take a look. We have 2 more packs to go, as planned. Open another, and we are done here. This time, though, we do see a 2-1 Tornadus VMAX line. So, hey, it might be another Tornadus player, but we are at least getting someone who has a complete, who has the ability to play a VMAX. Alright, you know what? I'm going to take a moment and see if we can't find... I was going to look for background music, but... I don't actually have, like, Spotify or anything downloaded. Open a pack. Alright. I think it does go significantly faster when we open the packs like this. Oh, a Blaziken V and a Volcanion V as well. And more Tornadus. I wonder why there are so many Tornadus being pulled today. I'm getting a little bit sleepy. But, let's see if we are at 35. Perfect. Collection, add to cart. Here we go. And on to the next player. You know what? We are going to try to find ourselves a little bit of background music. Let's see here. If I go to this, and then, you know, we're talking about the gold, silver, OST, so we'll just go ahead and try to find that on oh, that's a bit loud, but oh, hopefully that is something you all can hear as well without being too overwhelming. Alright, back to this. so we should be getting close to the end for this player. Let's go ahead and see what we're at. 34, perfect. 2 more packs, and last one. Did they get any particularly cool pulls? Not really. Another incomplete Calyrex set. And a lot of VMAXs that just cannot be used. Well, Romeo already had a great pulls from the first event, so maybe they'll find a couple of single strike cards they want to toss in here. I feel like there's only so many things I can say about the cards. As we get further and further into opening the sets, there's really not anything to comment on. Like we know that Zapdos they just pulled is pretty good. I'm pretty sure they got a couple of Melanie. So, yeah, let's just chill out and open some packs. They've pulled a couple of Malamars. So I wonder if they're going to be able to make good use of that. Alrighty, let's go ahead and double check the collection. 34, 35, and 36, right as we start the next song. Head on over to TCG Player. Oh, that was a very short track we just listened to. If there's anyone in the stream chat that we haven't opened for yet, let me know and I can move you to the top of the queue. Otherwise, we'll just go ahead and keep going in order. Also, technically, registrations for this event are not closed until after I finish opening everyone's packs. So if anyone is trying to hop in last minute, you still can. I will check one more time once we finish all of the other packs. For any last minute stragglers. So that's 36 for them. The Sandaconda and Blaziken Remax are two pretty solid first pack pulls, but as always, the question is whether they will even be able to use them. So we do see a Blaziken V alongside Blaziken VMAX. I believe this is the first player with a VMAX Blaziken line. If they are able to find cards like Zera or a V, they could be in for a great strategy. They even managed to pull a second copy of the Blaziken VMAX, which will make it a little bit more consistent to get. Of course, most people would prefer to have a 2-1 line rather than a 1-2 line, but with cards like Peonia, and Pachirisu and Drampa, it's alright to just take what we get and try to do our best from there. Let's see, 2 more packs. And nothing impressive on the last one, but let's go ahead and square this player's pulls away. Oh, we see a reconstitute Articuno. And I think it is a card worth running, despite what other people may be saying in the chats. We see another Blaziken V, though this time we don't have the corresponding V Max. There is a Zera or a V. And, if I'm not mistaken, there was a an Ice Rider Calyrex pulled not too long ago. So we're gonna have to go ahead and see if this player is our first player with a Calyrex line. Oh man, that would be a big one. So 2 packs to go. Let's take a look. They have 2 copies of the VMAX. Oh, but no copies of the V. It must have been the previous player that got it. How unfortunate. Alright, now it's time for Tulip Racer. Oh, an alternate art Galarian Moltres V. Not bad. Zera Aura V. Alright. We saw a Kirlia and a Guadivore in the same pack, or in adjacent ones, at the very least. Oh, this player has a couple of Weezing and Galarian Weezing, so maybe they'll be able to make something work out of it. Oh, and a Blissey V, a great card to be pulling. Yeah, so if we take a look, I want to say they have at least 2 of each Weezing. They have 4 Galarian Weezing and 2 regular Weezing. Could be worth building a deck around that. And of course they have plenty of Coughing. And with another great Dark type attacker in Galarian Moltres V, I could definitely see it putting in some work. Nothing too crazy yet from this player's polls. Oh, but we do see a Melanie. And of course the Sobble could see play in a lot of decks. Just being able to use Call for Family to grab a bunch of Pokemon is not a bad idea. And another Melanie plus Avery as well. Peonia, not bad. Not bad at all. Cresselia, and a Clara. A lot of good supporter cards coming back to back to back. We also see another Metagross V. I think there was another one either earlier in the polls or potentially even a VMAX. It might have been the previous player that had it though. Let's go ahead and take a look once we finish opening this player's packs. Alright, that should be a 34, but I don't want to lose track, so let's see. Yep, so we can see right here, 2 Metagross V and a Sandaconda V as well. I wonder if they'll be able to make good use of those cards. We can close out, add collection to cart, head over to TCG Player, copy, and then come over here to a Wingy. Next up is Panzer. Oh, we see another Metagross V. It's on a roll today. Alright, 2 more packs to go. 1 and 2. Now, I want to say that this player did complete a Metagross line. A 2-1 Metagross VMAX. Could be quite useful. Max Rush does power itself up, and Zap Traction is a great consistency booster. We'll have to see what Panzer goes for though. Let's go ahead and reset. Oh, we see a Galarian Zapdos V, always a great card to pull. And the Moltres V are coming right after. A fantastic start. Okay, so the spreadsheet currently was not functioning, but that should be everybody's packs located inside the validation sheet. Now the reason why nothing was showing up was because I forgot to actually set them inside of here. So once I do that, it should be okay. So hopefully this will actually fix it. If not, we'll have to take a closer look at it in the near future. And of course, we also need to go see if there were any last minute signups. Because if so, I will need to roll a couple more sets of cards just for the latecomers. Oh, Zeraora only need 1 V on that. There we go. Slowpoke is going to be Psychic for sure. Luckily, I know what all of these Pokemon are, so figuring out their type is not very difficult. I mean, they are, of course, all sorted together for me. But knowing where the breaks are means I'm able to just kind of go through it pretty quickly. Nope, that one's a supporter. Bum, bum. Oh, that's gonna be a tool. Supporter again. Stadium. Item. I actually don't know. This one's maybe a tool. I haven't seen the Expedition uniform card before. So thinking. Looks like it is just an item. Alright, so then we can go back to tool, supporter, item, tool, supporter, tool, supporter, 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 stadium, stadium again, supporter, supporter, tool, of course, item, energy, energy, energy. Alright, so hopefully that update does mean things are functioning now. Let's try taking a look at some players' sheets. And see if they updated. We can see they do have the grass cards from the set, so that's definitely progress. But the question is, where are the rest of them? Well, looks like they are still... The sheet is updating as we speak. So we've got some fire cards loading in, perfect. But we don't currently see any fighting types. So I think we just need to give it some time, and then hopefully it'll be all good to go. It might also be updating individual player sheets at different rates.